as we can see, they are picketing at the COCOBOD, and a whole lot is happening. The COCOBOD themselves, we have heard the announcement of pay cuts, you know, as in solidarity to what is going on. Let me start with you, Inusah Fuseini. The problem is not resolved. It doesn't look like. We spent 2 hours last week discussing it here. So it doesn't seem resolved.
The resolution of the problems of COCOBOD is not going to be a 9-day wonder. It requires structural reforms to deal with the inefficiencies in that trading institution. And also financial management. I mean, we see a lot of reckless, wasteful expenditure that has characterized the activities of past administrations of COCOBOD. So we need to deal with that. For a very long time, we have said that a trading institution like COCOBOD need not be running at losses. No. And where the losses can be raked up to about 32 billion, it's totally unacceptable. Now, I sympathize with the workers. I mean, if the institution were being run prudently, savings would have been done, and then they could pull from the savings to augment whatever hardship that is befalling the cocoa. But there are no savings. There's a debt. And when you say that the cocoa board, cocoa farmers must be paid the ongoing rate and that there should not be a cut, it means that you and I, we all do sitting here, Ghanaians, must bear the cut. It means that Ghanaians must contribute to subsidizing or what if you want, augmenting the pay of the farmers or the price of cocoa. But we cannot do that.
In my take, I was asking a question. Imagine we're in an election year. Will government not have found money to cushion the cocoa farmers?
If you had a responsible government, he will not find money. He will tell them, look, we don't have money. We are where we are. To be honest with you, we have traveled a lot. And we see how things have been done.
President Mahama understands what it means to say, I am a dead goat. It cost you elections.
Yes, it cost you elections.
You are saying that if this had happened in an election year, you will still go ahead and cut 30%.
It will cost you elections. But when you lose elections based on conviction, where will you suffer? The conviction that this is the prudent way to manage our country. John Mahama lost elections 2016 because he said that, well, we wouldn't go to the Bank of Ghana for quantitative easing. 2016, the whole of 2016, NDC, and I was a minister then, NDC did not take any money from Bank of Ghana, even though we had challenges. It was a prudent decision. We wanted to stabilize the country and ensure that the institutions work. It was not by any agreement with any international development partners. It was a commitment by government. Well, we lost. We lost elections. But it's come back stronger.
It looks like some of your people, including in Parliament, are making pronouncements that people say you are not learning from the things that get people angry, the arrogance of power. So let's take a listen to Isaac Adongo, and then I think Mahama Ayarga made some comments on the floor of Parliament. But as you already know, the executive management of COCOBOD are taking a 20% reduction in salaries, while senior staff are taking 10% cuts in salaries. How significant is that? Let's watch this and return.
Because you think that cocoa politics is what can help your party. I can assure you that the demonstrators, we know who they are. We know who they are. We know who the demonstrators are. We know who the demonstrators are. And we know their real motivation. We know their real motivation for demonstrating. And we know that genuine cocoa farmers know that there is a world crisis. And that world crisis is definitely going to affect their bottom line, which is the income that they will earn from the cocoa sector. And so you cannot give what you don't have, even if you promised it. Even if you promised it, you cannot give what you don't have. Because what you are proposing is what you did, and you collapsed the economy of Ghana. You put COCOBOD in debt over 36 billion Ghana cedis. Over 36 billion Ghana cedis in terms of the debt that you push COCOBOD into. All of that is the cocoa farmers' money. So we are not going to pander to those sentiments. The practical problem is there. The farmer appreciates it, and I can assure you that the farmer appreciates the solution proposed by government.
Farmers. We have heard a lot of comments from our colleagues, and they have tended all of a sudden to pretend as though they are the people who love the people of Ghana, when Ghanaians were very clear that they were enemies of Ghana and didn't want them near the Flagstaff House anymore. The bottom line of all that has happened is that some amounts were owed to cocoa farmers, and the government took a decision to repay those monies so that the cocoa buying companies can settle those outstanding obligations. I'm happy to report to you that this morning, the government has released 855 million for the purposes of paying those outstanding obligations. But permit me to say, ladies and gentlemen, that we have decided to introduce a number of reforms. But those reforms that we are introducing are reforms that are long overdue. The cocoa sector has been under enormous strain over the years, and we have pretended to be servicing cocoa farmers, when in fact what we have done is to destroy the vehicle that we are using to support the cocoa farmers.
Yes, so Inusah, back to the blame game, right? We're doing politics with it. Mahama Yaraga suspects that the people who are protesting, even if they are cocoa farmers, somebody is behind. And then tells us about the 36 billion, debt that was created, that has been created. And then Isaac also holds a press conference, and the blame game is what is going on. How do we solve the problem with that?
We solve the problem by reforms. By cutting down, restructuring COCOBOD itself. Because you see, it is totally unacceptable to have a trading institution like COCOBOD to rake up debts for all of us to pay and put the farmers in harm's way. I like what government is doing. There are outstanding commitments. Let's deal with them. But going forward, COCOBOD must not be doing cocoa roots. Why? COCOBOD must not be doing it. Two, the management of COCOBOD must be reduced to a level that will make them spend only a little fraction of cocoa resources in regulating the cocoa purchases in this country. Three, there's a fundamental problem with COCOBOD. The crop services division of COCOBOD is no longer there. Crop services division was responsible for monitoring the diseases that afflicted COCOBOD, projecting the yields of COCOBOD, ensuring that pods that could not be pollinated naturally could be done artificially, and all those things, they're gone. So we come and say that we will get 800,000 tons of cocoa, and we don't get it. We don't get it. We're 400 or something.
You said they must not be doing roads?
No.
But they are doing those roads that are supposed to be connected to make it easy for cocoa to be brought to the centers for sale. And as we understand, the money that Ayarga is actually talking about 36 billion, about 27 or 6 billion of that amount went into roads, I suppose. Is that not it?
So the Ministry of Roads and Highways does roads. All roads are the property of the Ministry of Roads and Highways. So if you think that there are issues with cocoa roads, then you have money to do cocoa roads. Why don't you give the money to the Ministry of Roads and Highways, which has the technical capability to do the roads for you, to do the roads and then rake out, and give them performance indicators? Why don't you do that? You establish a department within COCOBOD, populated with people, increase the cost of running the organization, and then you fail to deliver even on the roads. Why do you do that? I mean, you can always support another ministry to deliver a service for you.
Did you say, why do you do that?
Yes.
You don't know why?
I don't know why.
That's procurement. That's procurement, and you know why.
When the minister for routes, they were doing cocoa routes.
Well, I don't want to go to that because I had a position on it, and His Excellency the President knew that I had a position on it.
That's a position you're espousing now.
Yes, I had a position on it. I thought that no, the Ministry of Roads and Highways to do the roads. COCOBOD, if they have 50 million Ghana cedis to support in cocoa roads development, they give that money to COCOBOD. I mean, Bank of Ghana, when they were going to do the road, the Spintex road, they didn't contract contractors to go and do it. They made a Ministry of Roads take inventory and determine how much will do that road. Then they gave the money to Urban Roads to do that road. That's how they did it. And then we have that road to service them and to service the public.
They are trying to sympathize with the situation by cutting their salaries 20 and 10%. But you say it should go beyond that, structural and so on. We understand that the staff strength of that company is unbelievable.
Among us. Because it's the fleet. I mean, everybody goes there, and the intention is not to contribute towards the growth of the company, but to get something out of the company. So that's why we think
every regime, that's what you want to say, every regime tries to find jobs
for the boys.
In those places where there are non-existing jobs. And some of them actually go there to idle about.
I'm not saying that, you are saying it. The fact is...
So the cocoa farmers are right.
They are right to the extent that...
In this condition, regardless of the fact that since cocoa per ton rose to 11,000 and now has taken a nosedive, and up to this point, it suffered about 70% reduction in price, government can still give them a cushion. If this is so much money from their sweat going to build roads, so much money from their sweat is being used to pay people who are put in there but don't have work to do, you can channel that money to them.
No, so we are saying that we're not going to even waste that money on people who are there. So we're going to cut down on the people who are employed over there. We have to provide alternative employments for them. I mean, I've read Dr. Kobna Donko say that, look, even we must hive or break the COCOBOD into a trading institution and a regulatory institution. It can be a regulator and also a trader at the same time. A very laudable idea.
I don't know how true that is, but the suggestion is that they have about in excess of 5,000, or is it 50,000 workers?
I don't know, but whatever be the case. And we started drumming this when we were in Parliament. Eric Poku always came, anytime we were going to do the budget and the syndicated loan came, he looked at how much was going to go to management and said, this money was huge. When you spend this money on management, it will have an impact on the cocoa beans you will buy. But more importantly, I mentioned Cocoa Services Division because His Excellency, the President, is saying, look, we want to process our cocoa. But we must have cocoa beans before we can even process them. What we have seen in the past is that we have not been able to even produce the cocoa beans that we require for export, that we have entered into a contract to supply. So we must put systems in place to ensure that we guarantee ourselves of at least a minimum production of cocoa beans to be able to say that we're going to process 50% of the cocoa beans in this country. we should not be dependent on gambling or lottery in this reform exercise.
Okay, this was supposed to be a brief comment. Yes, Hadia.
Okay, so apart from restructuring of...
Me, I don't understand. No. How did they come to be owed? That now we are struggling to now go find the money to pay them.
Leakages.
They are supplying the beans. Pay them their money.
Leakages. And then we did, we projected 800,000 tons of cocoa beans to be produced in 2023, 2021, 2022, 2023. We got 430 something. So we were already in a deficit. Meanwhile, we are taking the 787 or 86,000 tons of cocoa money and spent.
How come the Ivorian cocoa farmer may have suffered something, but is about 1,000 cedis better than our farmer? We understand they are also now going to take that decision like we have
but
done.
Ivory Coast has no cocoa marketing board.
Okay, Hadia, let's hear you.
Yeah, so exactly just like Alhaji said. In fact, Ghanaians have this spirit of thinking that anything that belongs to the government should not make profits. COCOBOD has been in existence for a long while. So supposing I was a businesswoman who owned a cocoa factory or farm, and I'm always running at a loss, why won't I change the strategy I'm using? So I applaud the president for taking a very key note in our DTP, the syndicated loan thing. It was killing us. And everybody should understand that we take loans in dollars, come back, give it to our people in cedis, then go and look for another dollar to pay back. It was really killing us. And we should also know as Ghanaians that it is our duty to always make our government bodies or institutions rich. You don't expect somebody to come from somewhere to come and enrich your pockets. Those who are sitting in the COCOBOD and the offices, how many of them go to the fields? My grandmother just passed away years of 138 years. And she has a cocoa farm up the hills. Because my father didn't want me to be a dadabi, he always sent us to the village to go and visit our grandma. And believe me, none of us, the grandchildren, want to go into farming because the farms are still there. But I know that if I go in and a time comes that the cocoa prices fall, the farmer, is going to suffer. Not those who are sitting in the offices and in the ACs. So it is a worry for all of us. And we are counting on the president and the committee that has been set. And we are expecting that structures should be put in place. If there are so many people who are in the offices and their offices are of no use, they should be reassigned to other...
We need to appreciate that the correct figure as from the chief executive himself, as we understand, is about 10,000 staff. And almost every month, they need about $12 million. $12 million.
Yes. And these 10,000 staff is not giving us any profits.
It costs them $12 million.
A month?
Yes.
And you don't have cocoa even to supply. Meanwhile, you must find 12 million to pay.
You see? And we are wasting a lot of products when it comes to our cocoa. Cocoa pots can be used as soap. Not just the beans, others. But we don't even have a bar of soap made out of cocoa. So adding value to our cocoa is very important and key. We are just hoping that the youth will find pleasure in cultivation of the cocoa. We are also pleading that those who are thinking of going to sell their lands to Galamsey operators should rethink. Because they are thinking that if you have a land and a galamsey comes, helps you to get the license, you are going to be rich. They will cut down the cocoa trees.
That's a problem now, isn't it?
A very huge one.
These were supposed to be brief comments so that we move on. Yes,
Samson, first and foremost, I think the comment, I was in Parliament yesterday when my leader made those statements, and I found it very unfortunate. In such moments where farmers are concerned about the way government has cut down their prices, and then we sit in Parliament and say that we know them and we know those who brought them, I think the signal is very negative. Secondly, you ask yourself, what promises did the government, before coming into power, give to the cocoa farmer? And then today, faced with realities, if you want to vary it, you only have to go back to the people and engage and let them understand the realities and accept your responsibility that, yes, I promise so much, but looking at the existing conditions, I think this is the way to go. And this is in future how you can be compensated.
We spent about 2 hours discussing this matter last week, and the CEO was here. There was engagement. What's the proof that there was no any engagement?
No, if the people have been carried along, I have heard, and we've seen it in almost all the cocoa growing areas, the farmers are unhappy. If they have been properly engaged, even if you know you're going to get a haircut, you will appreciate, you will not express yourself the way and manner they're expressing themselves.
The sentiments are that they appear to be appreciating, and then the politicians stepped into the discussion and started crying hell. So they are thinking again that if their counterparts elsewhere have not suffered this haircut, why should they also suffer it?
No, I think you need to go down again to see whether that expression is really how the cocoa farmers feel. Because where I sit, coming from the Western region, and the people I know who are into cocoa farming, they are not, you can't help it. This is what government says I can give you. But in reality, that is not good enough for them. And importantly, like my colleague said, in restructuring COCOBOD, even the government today have increased the wage bill of COCOBOD since it came to power. Ask how many people have been recruited in 1 year into COCOBOD. Even management officers have almost always been reshuffled. You send people away and you recruit people to come and do the same job, and 2 people are being paid for 1 work in COCOBOD today. So we sit where we are, we make all of these things, but there's not been any action.
Because political leadership is bastardizing the situation, isn't it? Otherwise, this looks like it's a no-brainer. You set up a system that the farmers themselves will appreciate, where the world price has reduced by up to 70% now. How can the person expect that I will still be paid the price when it was 10,000 per ton? So it is because you, the politicians, will not allow the facts to be dealt with the way they ought to be. Is that not so?
No, I don't think so. I believe over time, we have not managed it in the way and manner that would have given us some relief today from what we are seeing. So it's a structural deficit from where we've come from all along.
What you do with fuel prices is the same thing you do with this, when you know that you don't control it.
No, but that's why we deregulated. And today, the market forces are what are determining the situation. So we can look at that same model and see how we are going to restructure so that when the prices go up, when the prices went to 11,000, how much did we pay them? What did government take out of? So if you take so much at the time that the price was so high, you need to have a buffer.
A legitimate point.
So that you can use it to compensate.
But else, you didn't take.
Else you give...
You're talking in hypothesis. We didn't take the 11,000. At the time that the cocoa prices hit 11,000, we had locked in our price at 2,600.
Hedged.
We didn't take.
Okay.
So to end it all, the point is that there should be a closer look at COCOBOD. We all welcome reforming that sector, but it should be a genuine commitment. You see, when government...
And it should be drastic.
Yes, when
in a manner that you will not come complaining that they are dismissing MPP people.
No, but that is an action that should be seen and felt that it is being done
across board.
Exactly.
Without any political...
Because when you come in and you sideline and recruit people, and when it comes to asking people to go home, you check the years, the dates in which they were recruited, then it becomes politics.
Okay.
But we need to
even in campaigning at the level of flag bearership, you hear them talk about how they will give everybody jobs, and they know the jobs are not there, and they are thinking about jobs in these same places. Yes.
The good news is some measures have been taken at the administrative level, including cutting down on salaries. It is significant, but not enough. There's still a lot more to be done. And it is general consensus that there is the need, the urgent need for total reforms, because we know what the issues are. We've discussed it over and over again. A country like Switzerland, they don't produce cocoa, but they make billions of dollars on an annual basis. Okay, so I agree to a very large extent with what Haja said. Let's look at adding value to the cocoa we produce. We just don't export, but we add value and export, and we would make more money. Another major issue is with timely payments, then the producer pricing issues, operational costs, and there's even a risk of production decline. Okay? And that I must say is very worrying. That is why it is imperative that we work assiduously towards changing all these things. And of course, the issue of staffing. And I'm extremely excited that you have mentioned the need for us to depoliticize this thing, because it didn't start today. And Honorable has clearly indicated that it is historic in nature. Okay? So what do we do to reverse all the mistakes that have been made in the past that has gotten us to where we are?
All right. This show is brought to you by Bank of Africa, as strong as a group, close as a partner. MTN, everywhere you go. Ashesi University, educating ethical and entrepreneur leaders for Africa. Robert & Sons Optical Services, your comprehensive eye care service provider for 33 plus years. My Way Insurance, dial *165# on MTN to join My Way today. Syntex Tanks, it's strong, it's tough. Safari Valley Eco Park, that is where we bring you closer to nature. Gold Board Jewelry, pure, precious, proudly Ghanaian. Koa Natural Juice, 100% cocoa fruit juice. Malcolm, your #1 shopping destination. Waylead, your trusted home builder. And Bethel Dental, the smile starts here.